as I'm sure you are aware, Prince Harry is due at the High Court in London this morning. He's going to take the stand in his case against the publisher of the Daily Mirror over alleged phone hacking. Well, yesterday, the judge said he was a little surprised that Harry wasn't in attendance, having arrived late to the UK because he was celebrating his daughter Lilibet's second birthday in Los Angeles. Well, join me now, media lawyer Antonia Foster and former royal correspondent Jennie Bond. Antonia, when a judge says that, should he be a bit worried about the fact that, you know, the judge was surprised that he wasn't there?
Yes, I mean, it's a fairly soft judicial criticism, but it's there nonetheless. He was evidently asked to be in court yesterday. He wasn't. And as matters turned out, it seemed that they were ready to have him in the stand yesterday, which, of course, didn't happen.
Right, it is going to happen today.
Yes.
He is going to be in front of someone who I believe the lawyer is known, the barrister is known as the Beast.
Yes,
it's not going to be easy, is it?
No, I don't think being cross-examined for anyone is an easy thing. For him, he's got the world's media you know, waiting to hear what he says. Sure. And it's going to be a tall order for him, I'm sure.
And is it up to this judge? There's not, like, it's one single judge that he has to...
One judge.
One judge, that's it.
That's it, no jury. It's a judge alone hearing, and he will ultimately decide the winner and the loser in this case.
It's quite fascinating. Jennie, I wanted to talk to you about the fact that, you know, he is going to be cross-examined. He's a person that's used to people being, well, you know, pretty subservient to him. He gets, you know, he has done interviews, but they've been fairly soft. So this is going to be unusual, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite a shock to Harry's system. He's going to have to control his anger. We know he's an angry man. We know from his book Spare. He has a huge fire of anger within him. And the lawyers will be doing all they can to stoke that fire. They're going to be probing him. They're going to be going into forensic detail about his private life. It's strange, isn't it, really, Lorraine, that this is all about privacy and discretion. And by bringing this case, which of course he's allowed to do, he's going to shine a massive spotlight on all the areas of his life that he wanted to protect. But that's the point. He wants these papers taken to task. He feels he's on a mission to reform the profession of journalism, to reform and change tabloid culture. Whether he's going to succeed, well, I think it's going to be very hard for him to come up with concrete evidence.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? But Antonia, this is his life's work. He is determined to do this. He's one of the few people who can actually has the pockets big enough to do that, and the passion as well. Because most people tend to settle, don't they?
That's right, and very often for exactly the reason you've just you know, alluded to. Most people don't have the sort of money that you could lose if you lose the court case. If he does lose, he's going to be ordered to pay a significant part of Mirror Group's costs. Equally, if he wins, he should get them back himself. Right. But you know, financially, there's a lot at stake. But I suspect reputationally even more.
And this is the first one. There's going to be more cases. We understand another 2.
Yes, we don't yet know if or when the next 2 will happen. This is the only one that's got to this stage. But yes, it's not the last for now.
And Jennie, you're absolutely right. There's going to be things that he's going to be asked about that he will not be happy, I would imagine. You know, presumably they've done a lot of rehearsing before he takes the stand. But, you know, he's going to be asked about his relationships, and he's going to be asked about his feelings, and he's going to be asked about his family in a way that's not the way that Oprah Winfrey would do it, for example, or an interviewer. It's going to be a lot tougher than that.
Yeah, hostile questioning. That's what he's in for, a day and a half of hostile questioning. And we know he's a hot-tempered man, so he's going to have to keep that under control. I mean, there's been some very interesting stuff come out already. There's been some letters were shown to the court yesterday between Diana and Michael Barrymore, the entertainer, in which Diana was offering help to him. Barrymore was going through a very difficult time in his life. And Diana then there was another letter saying that she was very disappointed that her office had been contacted by a Mirror newspaper about the meetings and about the fact that she had contacted Barrymore. And she said she obviously didn't understand how this had got into the public domain. So some very interesting evidence, private stuff coming out already.
It is fascinating. You do wonder whether or not it's going to be worth it in the end, Jennie, because he will alienate further his family, because of course we understand that William has settled, you know, Charles is you know, King Charles. It's always the old refrain of never explain, you know, never complain. So this is going to, I would imagine, drive an even bigger wedge between the family.
I think you're absolutely right, yes. I mean, I think he has been counselled. He says in his book that his father, Charles, has counselled him not to pursue this mission against the press. He said it was a suicide mission. And Charles always has tried to keep the tabloids on side, actually rather to my own annoyance and bemusement. When I was working for the BBC, you know, a very senior royal correspondent at the BBC, I was excluded from, you know, parties and events. I remember one big party at Buckingham Palace. I wasn't invited as the royal correspondent. Piers Morgan was as the editor of the Mirror. David Yellen was as the editor of the Sun. And I used to say to them, why? And why do you plant stories? And they did. Plant is a strong word. Give stories to the tabloids first. Why don't you come to me and I'll broadcast them? They can follow me. But that was never the way the palace worked. They liked to keep particularly the tabloids on side.
That is so interesting. I'll tell you what, it's going to be fascinating to watch this. As you say, he is going to have some pretty robust questioning. I think we can say that. I think robust is the word. And it'll be interesting to see whether, again, it's all worth it in the end. Jennie, thank you so much. And Antonia, thank you, as always, for your wise words. And as I say, this is certainly going to be something that we'll be coming back to. I'll tell you what, a spokesman for the Mirror Group did say to us, this is their statement, where historical wrongdoing has taken place, we have admissions taking full responsibility and apologise unreservedly, but we will vigorously defend against allegations of wrongdoing where our journalists acted lawfully. And that is the crux of the matter, isn't it?